Welcome to High Gluttony. I'm Gretchen.
And I'm Becca, and we're two ladies on an adventure. Listen along every 10 days or so as we cook a dish we like,
Quest about cannabis education.
or chat with someone we respect.
You can find more information about this episode at highgluttony.com.
Thanks for joining us, Gluttoneers.
Off we go.
Thank you, Claudia.
Claudia.
We call Claudia our assistant. She is the voice that comes in to tell you that you're being recorded on Zoom. And we've really enjoyed her because we get to blame a lot of things on Claudia.
We do.
So we get to. I don't think we can blame our moods on Claudia today because she's not totally responsible. I will still put some blame on her, but it's not all her fault.
She's also not a real person.
Not at all. She's
not a real person. So it's really hard to blame somebody that doesn't exist.
Well,
for our problems.
She does talk. So as you can tell, we're feeling a little cranky today. Gretchen is having a tough day. It's been a tough week. It's cloudy or smoky for both of us. It's not fun. So we just want to eat all of the sugar everywhere we can find it. Please give us all the sugar. And we're making upside down cake because everything is upside down. We made this once before when things were feeling wonky, and now we're feeling it again. So upside down cake time it is.
But this is a special upside down cake. This is, all right, we'll say one of my top 3 upside down cakes. Maybe the number 1 upside down cake. But I also am partial to this Martha Stewart recipe I like with rhubarb. So we'll get into that next spring. Me and this cake have had a relationship for at least the last 18 years. This recipe is coming from A Passion for Desserts by Emily Lucchetti, who I've actually interviewed 20 years ago in culinary school. In the first few weeks of culinary school, it was a project for some class, and I did this with all my morning class baking friends. I wonder, here's another idea I'm having about the baking friends, because I was like, that's interesting. I was hanging out with all the bakers, and then I was like, and most of the bakers were women, and there aren't a lot of women in culinary school.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder if this is why I was hanging out with the bakers. I did like some of the other women that were in the culinary school, but I definitely was hanging with the bakers. Yeah, I don't remember exactly why we ended up interviewing her, aside from she was the pastry chef at Star's restaurant for a long time. It was a restaurant in New York City. I've actually never been there. It's actually in Fairlawn. Stars, I think it was Stars in Fairlawn. I guess I'll have to look that up later. Because she's not super famous, like you've never heard of her. But no. I do like her desserts. I mean, this is one of my most well-used and well-worn cookbooks, but sometime after 2003, feel like it was probably in 2003, because I do remember making this particular upside down cake, this pumpkin cranberry upside down cake, while I was working at the restaurant I worked in culinary school. So this was before 2005. So I've been making this for almost 20 years.
Wow.
It's insane to think about. So this is a pumpkin upside down cake with a cranberry pecan topping. Nice and seasonal. We are sort of on the early edge of fall as this is being released, but it is one of my favorites and wanted to get it out there into the world because everyone should eat this cake. It really sold me on upside down cakes, like not just being pineapple.
What? There are other options besides pineapple upside down cake? I actually never considered it, to be honest. Like pineapple was the only thing that went upside down. That's it.
Why should pineapple have all the fun? I mean, for real, why does pineapple get to have all the fun of being the upside down cakes?
Seriously. Pineapple, so selfish. Give it up.
Pineapples are fucking selfish.
I also find the cranberry and the pumpkin and the brown sugar to be kind of like moody, and it feels perfect for what we're feeling and what the weather is for us, even though it's not fall, it's close and
it feels like it.
It's in the air. Yeah.
It does seem fitting to make something quite fall-like on a day that we're feeling so tempestuous.
Tempestuous.
Anyway, moody.
And because moody, gloomy, moody, great. All those words, they're fun. It's kind of fun to feel this way sometimes. Just lean right into that gloom. No,
I don't want
we're not going to. I know we're not going to. We're also, cranberries are the theme of the day in other ways. We're drinking Cosmos today, which I think kind of got a bad rap from Sex and the City because it became this like uber feminine drink. And it's very pretty and it's very fun. And I think it's just like an elevated Cape Cod kind of, right? Like a vodka cranberry.
Yes, it is. That's all it is. It's vodka cranberry with some lime juice and triple sec. That's it. It's not that special. It's just not that special.
But it goes in a martini glass, which Gretchen is using. I'm not. I hate martini glasses. They look so fun. They're so pretty. And I just spill at least a fourth of the drink every time. And I have written off martini glasses as a result.
Well, all I'm actually drinking out of this now is straight cranberry juice because I finished my Cosmo and I cannot have another one. Otherwise I'll just be here on the floor.
Right.
So.
Gretchen will be upside down literally in her kitchen and we won't finish this episode.
Ever.
So that's what we're drinking. I had a little bit of some pen. I snuck it a little bit, but and you're cheating a little bit today with
I'm being naughty. Yes. I made one episode where we were like, okay, Gretchen, no more joints.
New rule.
Good for the corn episode. And that was it. So I am having a rum cake joint.
Appropriate.
Flo Kana pre-rolls. They also do flour. I actually saw this brand on one of our the people on our Instagram. She was doing like a Flo Kana tasting of different stuff they have. So I was like, oh, this must be a very popular brand right now. I have this cute little tin of 6 mini pre-rolls. Very handy, very nicely pocket or purse sized. We'll do a little promo for that. Put your little tiny joints in this little sucker. It's got a nice top that's childproof. And I keep talking about it. And
let's partner if you're listening. We love
you're listening. I like this joint. I started smoking a little bit before we started recording. It is improving my mood significantly. So gotta say, we're here for it. This is a sativa. So straight sativa, no hybrids today.
Okay.
21.7% THC and 0.08% CBD. So it does have a little CBD. Maybe that's helping me out too.
Nice.
What was your pen?
It was a hybrid. I don't have the label anymore or the package because I toss it as soon as I get it. Yeah. And so it's a mystery and it's fun. And what was I gonna say? Oh, I have been doing a lot more CBD oil. I know I mentioned that last time, and I do really enjoy it, and I think it does help combat some of that paranoia that can happen. So
I should really think about it harder than I do, especially with my mood being so off lately. I just feel like a grump.
Totally.
Yeah, but maybe we'll stop talking about how grumpy we are and talk about what we're actually doing today.
Yeah. And then we can
vamping.
Eat a little bit of our already mixed melted butter and brown sugar. And then that'll help the mood significantly.
Well, that's a brilliant idea, Becca. We should definitely do that.
Would you say this is a world level too?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Only because you're slightly increasing your level of difficulty by not making just a plain cake. A lot of upside down cakes are just plain cakes. That being said, pumpkin's actually going to help you in your cake because like anything with pumpkin in it is a extra boost of hydration. So that makes it harder to dry it out and make it like really funky.
And you always make it once a year at least, right? You in the fall?
Yes. With the exception of last year, in all likelihood, because I didn't have anybody to try and share it with for the most part.
mentally tell yourself you could share it with. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what happened to most of the desserts in my house last year? I ate them. I ate them all. I ate all of it.
So I'll read out the ingredients, what we're using today, and then you can give us an overview, and then I guess we will go from there.
Yes, indeedy.
We're using 8 ounces of butter, which is 2 sticks, 1 cup of brown sugar packed, 2 cups of cranberries. We both had frozen cranberries that have been left out at room temperature to defrost, 4 ounces of pecans, 2 large eggs, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, 6 tablespoons vegetable oil, 1 cup of granulated sugar or granulated caramel. Are you using caramel?
I am.
You made some more.
I made a. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
I made a lot last weekend
Ooh.
for the jam project, so we can talk about that once we get the cake in the oven if we remember.
Fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay. So I only have granulated sugar. Boo, boring. And then we are using 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Are we using any special equipment today, Gretchen?
This is very low tech for us. We're just using handheld equipment today. You do need a square pan. You're supposed to have a 9x9. I lied when I told you I thought I just bought a 9x9 square pan. Turns out I bought an 8x8 square pan in metal.
So do you have 2 now?
I have 2 8x8 pans, no 9x9s. Yep. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Of course. Call me when you get the third 8x8.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it'll happen. It will happen for sure.
So you've always used an 8x8 and you will continue to
Yep.
use an 8x8.
Yep. Yes, I will.
I have a 9x9.
Great.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this suggested usage size pan.
It's just a suggestion. 8x8 works perfectly well, in my opinion. It has not done me wrong in the 20 fucking years I've been making it. So
Okay. So no special equipment
Nope.
besides a pan of your choice, a square pan of your choice.
You'll need at least 2 bowls, a pan or a microwave safe measuring cup to melt your butter in, a whisk, and a spatula. Pretty much that's the extent of the equipment. But you're going to need at least 2 because you need to sift your flour for the cake. Well, it should be done before you start. So you're going to need a bowl for that. So very first thing, melt your butter and make your brown sugar bottom.
Can I back you up?
Sure. Yeah, please do.
Heat the oven.
Yes, preheat the oven. Yes, that's very
Line the
important
pan.
first step. So yeah, but let me start from the very beginning. Take it through. Preheat your oven, 350 degrees. Take your square pan, 8x8 or 9x9. Line it with parchment paper. Then get your melting vessel for your butter. Again, can be done in the microwave, can be done on the stovetop. I've done it on a stovetop. Becca did it in the microwave. We're adding our brown sugar to that, mixing it together. Then
With a whisk.
With a whisk. Yes, a whisk preferably. That seems to work best. Then you're going to pour that into the bottom of the pan, just over the parchment paper. Next thing we're going to do is mix together our cranberry and pecans. Put that in the pan. Then we would sift our dry ingredients, which is our flour, baking powder, sugar, salt,
Cinnamon.
Oh, I forgot cinnamon in mine. How dare I?
Oh my. Yeah.
I got everything else.
That's pretty good.
And I wish I'd paid attention to how much cinnamon.
1 teaspoon.
Oh, a whole teaspoon. Oh, nice. Okay.
That's really pretty.
I've definitely also added other spices to this in the past, like nutmeg or anything in the pumpkin spice genre works well. Cloves, ginger.
Allspice. What's allspice?
Allspice. Allspice is a berry, actually.
Oh.
That they dehydrate and is just sort of like a nutmeggy cinnamon almost smell.
Okay.
It's with a bit of clove. Like it really is very aptly named because it does cover a lot of spices. And it can have it's typically used a lot in pickles because
Ooh.
it does have a bit of a bite. So it adds a nice complexity to when you pickle things. That's allspice, not related to what we're doing here, but now you know about it.
And connects to our Korean pickled garlic in a way, so is really pretty meta, Gretchen.
Okay, so after we've sifted together our flour mixture, then we are going to whisk together 2 eggs, your cup of pumpkin, and your oil. So those are your wet ingredients. Then you fold in your dry ingredients, put it over the cranberry pecan mixture, put it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes or until a skewer comes out clean. Then you let it cool for 10 minutes exactly after it comes out of the oven. I mean, no, not really exactly. That's just what it says in the recipe.
At least 10?
At least 10. But you don't want to let it cool off completely because that topping, the bottom of the cake, which ends up being the top, if that solidifies too much, it'll be really hard to get it out of the cake. Basically, you just want it to cool off enough where the bottom of your cake's not going to end up totally soggy from like releasing steam or trapping steam in there. Sorry, it wouldn't be able to release the steam. But you want that topping to still be sort of melty so that it can kind of drizzle down into the cake once you flip it over. So you don't want it to cool for too long. Okay. I would say maybe max half an hour. Okay, 10 minutes is just a bit strict to me.
You're like, well, what if I'm not paying the most attention?
Which is likely.
Mark. Yeah. So just trying to hedge my bets here on what is an exact necessity. So you wait 10 minutes and then flip
it onto put a plate on the top. It's very specific because you don't want to lose any of your delicious topping. So you put a plate over the top of the pan and then flip the cake over. So you don't want to flip it onto nothing. You can let it cool. I typically let it cool because it would be very hot. That sugar stuff is going to be pretty warm. Don't really want to shove it right in your mouth. That's not a great idea. But this cake does get better over time. So the longer it sits, the better it's going to be.
I have a question about the parchment paper. I see that you have an exact square cut to the shape of the bottom of your pan.
Yes.
I cut mine a little bit, but then just kind of like shoved it in there so that it like sticks out on all the sides because I was worried after the last time we did upside down cake and mine stuck. Should I only do a square, like a small square though? Or is it okay to have it the way I do? And so I can know.
Will you show me?
Yeah, let me show you a picture.
I'm having trouble visualizing it. I don't think it's a problem. Oh, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I'll
fine.
take a picture so we can describe it to people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we don't have to describe
it. Fair point.
I know what words are.
I know what words are. I know what words like. Gretchen's a little drunk today.
Woohoo! Do you want to tell everybody what we've already done then before we finish up the next stuff? No, you don't have to.
No, I don't want to.
Moody Gretchen says no.
Moody Gretchen makes the bad joke. Yeah, like the jokes that she said she was going to stop doing, but she's not. We've already mixed together our butter and brown sugar, melted the butter, mixed in the brown sugar. We have sifted our flour and dry ingredients together. So that's already done. We've whisked together our pumpkin, eggs, and oil. And I have my cranberries and pecans measured out sitting near each other. They're socializing. Yeah.
They're not getting to know each other, taking their time.
Yeah. This is the first time I'm using frozen cranberries for this. So we'll have to report back on if I think that's a bad idea going forward.
Hey, my butter's kind of solidified a little.
Just pop it in the microwave for a minute.
All right.
Yeah, I used to cook this topping. I think kind of similar to when we did the pineapple upside down cake, because I believe we boiled that a bit, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. I was trying to think about the difference because this felt a lot easier. And I think it's because we had to cook some of the stuff and cooked the pineapple.
Yeah, I am about to eat some of this delicious, delicious brown sugar and butter mixture.
Oh my God.
Just so good. Well, I'm going for it. I'm putting my mixture in my pan.
Okay, your butter and your brown sugar.
What did I say?
I'm just making sure we're doing the right thing. I'm just doing the right thing.
Yes. Yeah. Butter, brown sugar.
Okay, check. Layer
Check.
1.
Layer 1.
Which becomes our top layer.
Yes. I've drained out any liquid from my frozen cranberries just so that there's not too much extra liquid going into this. And they still look good, holding their shape. I'm mixing my cranberries and my pecans together right now. You can chop up the pecans. I'm just kind of breaking them up a little bit as I'm tossing this together so that they're good size. But one of the sort of essential parts of this cake is having those whole, fresh-ish cranberries.
I see.
Because they kind of jelly under the cake and they like keep their shape. And then you bite into them and they like still have a little like texture to them. And they like burst and have this wonderful release of amazing, what's the word I want?
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise like cranberry flavor that comes through every couple of mouthfuls. Very excited about this cake. Get to eat my favorite cake.
Yay.
Or one of my top 3 favorite upside down cakes.
Right. Does it jelly like that because of all the pectin?
Yes.
As we learned in our jellies and syrup, jam and syrup?
Nectarine sticky stuff is the actual
Thank you.
name. Yeah.
Can't remember anything.
Nope. That's all right. That's why we write things down.
When we remember that.
Yeah, I would worry about using some sort of like dehydrated cranberry for this because typically those are cut in half. They're almost always sweetened. So then you're already like kind of having to struggle with balancing the sweetness of the actual cranberry out instead of just being able to add a fuck ton of sugar to it because it's really tart. So.
Sure.
So our next step, are you good? Have you put your cranberries over the top of your brown sugar mixture yet?
No, not just yet. I wasn't sure if we were go on that. I'll do that now. Ooh, that's pretty.
Whew. It does look nice. Then our next step is folding our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients. So
slowly.
Oh, I don't even remember. Hold on. I think it just is she just put folded in. I'm not sure this is that picky of a cake.
Yay. That is my kind of cake.
Yeah, it just says stir the flour mixture into the pumpkin mixture.
Okay.
No fussy steps here.
Yeah.
So the description before the recipe does say that she got this from a home cook. So That's probably why it's pretty easy.
Yeah. We love home cooks around here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's most of the cooks in America are home cooks, even the professional ones.
Yeah. Great British baking.
Hello. So yeah, generally I just sort of fold everything together until all that flour's gone. No streaks of flour in there.
What are you using to stir or fold?
I'm using a spatula spoon type thing.
Okay, got it. Silicone.
Yes.
Gretchen, we're going to be on the same time zone soon.
I know. It's so exciting.
It's so exciting.
Although it hasn't really been a problem, but it will be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So I am pretty well mixed together here.
You're all folded?
I'm all folded.
Okay.
I found a little fault line of pumpkin running through there. So I just put it back together. And now I am carefully adding my cake batter on top of my cranberries.
Okay.
I've never thought of having an 8x8 pan as being a problem because the batter doesn't end up being particularly thick.
Okay.
Even in an 8x8 pan. I've got like a cranberry sticking through the bottom right now.
Okay. I was wondering that too, because it does feel a little hard to cover. It's covering, but I've definitely got some cranberries poking through. Yeah.
I've got at least 3 that are hanging out close to the surface here.
Yeah, that for me in the 9x9, this ends up being a pretty thin layer here.
So your cake will rise. So it will be quite a bit thicker than it is
that's
now.
Fair.
I've put my cake into the oven.
Same. So how long does it cook for again? 35 to 45 or something?
35 to 40.
To 40.
Start on the low side. Always check your cake. Well, I'm allowing myself to have more of this joint because I feel relaxed. Don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like I'm losing my train of thought too quickly.
Okay, very crucial. I love it.
This is very important in the progress of recording a podcast. What? I'm being tapped by my cat, by Ginger.
Why?
I guess she just really wants treats or something.
Oh, I was like, she has something very important to tell you.
It does feel that way. That is what her
Yeah.
little pat taps feel like, is like, excuse me, I need to tell you something.
Yeah, like, hi, I don't mean to bother you. I know you're busy, but like, this is super important, or else I would not do this at all. You know me. That's how I think her pats are. I can tell through here.
Come here. No, that is it. It actually, it's exactly like that, except that she really just wants me to feed her. Excuse me. It wouldn't be too much trouble. Would you please give me some of those treats? I'm going to be really fucking annoying until you do. So you might as well just give them to me now. Otherwise, I will just sit here and softly tap you and lightly scratch you with my toenails. Thank you.
It is in your best interest to just go right ahead and get me what I need.
Yes. Seriously. Why are you taking this long?
Do you give your animals accents? Like, is Ginger British or something?
I don't know. Was I just being British?
No, I feel like maybe she is.
Pardon me. Might I trouble you?
Yeah.
For just a few treats?
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, I don't mean to be a bother.
She does clearly mean to be a bother. This is the thing about it, is it's very cute. It really isn't painful, but it's fucking annoying. Cat.
Oh, Ginger, thank you for joining us.
She is a darling kitty cat, though.
Gretchen, can you talk to me about how fruit works in cake? Whole fruit?
Oh, you mean my whole thing about how upside down cakes are their superior vehicle for fruit and cake?
Yes.
Sure. Yes. Well, number one, let's take the example of fruit cake.
Okay.
One of the most hated cakes of all time.
Boo.
Okay, here, I got a confession for you. I've never eaten fruit cake.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think anybody actually eats it, right? Do people actually eat it?
Yeah. Yeah.
There a comedian that used to do a joke about like that nobody actually eats fruit cakes. They just like re-gift them every year. Like it just stays good forever. Somebody made that joke.
It's probably, that holds true. And when I was at Williams-Sonoma, there was a very good fruitcake that one of our vendors sold, and I had the pleasure of taste testing before we launched it, and it was fucking delicious. And I understood in that moment how fruitcake could be good. I'm curious to hear more about what you're going to say about fruitcakes, but I think one time I have had a good fruitcake.
So this all has to do with giving structure to the cake itself through your batter. Any cake that you're going to want to carry fruit is going to have a firmer batter. That's why like muffins and things of that nature, quick breads, are typically things that you would put fruit into way more than you see it in a cake, or what you would call a cake, you know?
Yeah.
Because what are words? Why do we call things that we call them? I could get, oh shit, I maybe shouldn't have had almost the rest of that joint, but.
Semantics.
Yeah.
1984. Sorry.
That wasn't what I was expecting you to say at all. So
keep going.
Keep going. So the reason like a lot of fruitcake is not good is because you have to make a really stiff dough to keep the fruit from just sinking to the bottom anyway. So with a fruitcake, you're just going, fuck it. The fruit's going to end up on the bottom. Let's just put it there. Put a cake on top. So it's so smart.
Now it's on purpose.
That is my whole argument for it is just like, it makes it so much easier. You don't have to fuck around with trying to make a batter that is going to support your fruit and also be not dry.
So pineapple upside down cake works because you put the fruit at the top bottom anyway, and then you're not worried about where it ends up.
And then it makes its own sauce because the water can be released from the fruit, and it mixes with the sugar, like helps the sugar dissolve and mixes with the butter. doing a bunch of magical things like together in the oven. And so it's like making a sauce around the cake while the cake is cooking. And so that sauce is like getting, onto the edges, and like it's a self-saucing cake basically.
Delicious. With butter and sugar.
Yes.
As like the
I'm smelling
boat.
something right now, and I was like, my oven's been smelling weird today, but we might be having a situation where it's boiling over.
Oh no.
Yes,
It's
this is exactly what happened. Yes. So I've got a lovely little spot. Oh, I've got 2 spots. Here's a very important lesson. Why it is sometimes good to bake things like this on a sheet tray.
Oh, good call. I also wonder if that's because of the 8x8 versus the 9x9.
That also might have something to do with it. You're right. I hadn't considered that before. Oh boy, this might be a mess later. We'll see how that all works out.
What's the time on the clock? How much time do we have left?
10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. We bullshitted for 25 minutes already.
Wowza.
So you feel like I've answered your questions?
I think so.
I lost my joint.
Oh, nuggets.
Oh, real nuggets. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. It's like there's still enough for like maybe a bowl, but I don't want to waste it. Spend a lot of money on those stupid joints.
Right?
All right. So I've answered your question.
I think so. If you were to give me, though, a one sentencer about why upside down cakes are superior vehicles for fruit, what would you say as one closeout sentence?
Here we go. I've got it.
Okay.
Cake that makes its own caramel sauce.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah. So there you go.
You've been talking about how fruit works in fruit cakes and in upside down cakes. And because we're using cranberries, we thought it would be kind of cool to talk about some of the benefits of cranberries, but pumpkin and pecans also have tons of benefits.
Yeah.
So we did a few quick Googles about some of the plus sides of these things. So we're not going to talk about the butter anymore, and we're not going to talk about the sugar, and we're not going to talk about what else, Gretchen?
The saucing, caramel.
The sauce. Oh my gosh, the caramel. Now we're going to talk about what the benefits are of some of these ingredients. So this actually, I would say, is a very healthy cake. Okay, probably not. There are a few benefits though. This is fun to know. Cranberries, we'll start with, are technically a superfood. I think there's a little controversy around the designation of superfood, but
yeah, sure there is.
Of course, there's everything. We can't talk about anything without there being some fucking controversy around it.
Fucking fraught, man.
Everything is fraught. So it's a superfood because it has a lot of nutrients and a lot of antioxidants. Some of the nutrients that are in cranberries help with urinary tract infections, which is really important because those are super uncomfortable if you've ever had one. They help with the prevention of certain types of cancer. Oh, were you going to say something, Gretchen?
I was going to say, I have not, but I have heard they are very unpleasant.
Oh my gosh.
I don't understand how I've made it this far in my life and not had that happen. I really don't, because it seems everybody I know has had one.
They're so uncomfortable. They're the most uncomfortable thing. Maybe you just always had enough cranberries.
I do love cranberries, so it's always been a part of my life.
So there may be. Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
I've just been well cranberry nutriented my entire life.
Good thing you make this cake every year.
Yeah, I think that probably has something to do with it. Yeah. I also I do use a lot of cranberries. So it must just be like, I'm a well cranberried person. I just love saying that.
You are a well cranberried person. So luckily Gretchen hasn't had to deal with it, but if you're struggling with UTI, look for some cranberry juice. It helps with that. It does help with certain types of cancer to prevent it. I didn't look for specifics, but it does help prevent certain types of cancer. It can help with immune function. It can help decrease blood pressure. And now on to pumpkin. Pumpkin has a lot of vitamin A, and I had to refresh myself on what vitamin A does. It is really helpful for vision. It's very helpful for your immune system. It's very helpful for your reproductive system. It also helps support your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, and helps just overall with all organ function. So super cool that this cake is giving us all of the things.
Yay.
Pumpkin can help with asthma. Pumpkin can help with some age related afflictions that can happen in particular with eyes. And there's something called AMD, which is age related macular degeneration. You're nodding your head.
I've
You know
heard of
about
it.
this one?
I
Yeah.
don't really know about it. I've heard about it.
I've also like definitely heard it, but had to look up what happens with this. But it's a little bit like your central vision is affected. So that means images are starting to blur. You get dark spots, you get lines that are curved all of a sudden, and things are just kind of distorted. So pumpkin
Interesting.
can help combat that. We take for granted all of these things that are naturally growing around us as aids to age-related degenerations.
And just like the random shit that people probably do in their lives that like just fixes like one fucking thing so that they don't have that one problem. Like that's nuts. If you eat a lot of pumpkin, you probably have good eyes.
Right. And it makes me think too, like, when should you be eating that pumpkin? So is that like before you're 30? And then, like then later it helps? I mean, should you always eat it? Oh, we're beeping?
We're beeping.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're sticking a skewer in there.
Yeah, I think mine might just have a puddle of oil in the middle of it. That is another reason I like this cake. It is very rich.
Well, my skewer came out clean.
I have a feeling mine is as well, or at least I might fake it and just say it is.
Are we looking for any sort of color though? Because I think mine, it's not as dark as I thought it would be.
No, mine's pretty light orange. Mine's not done yet.
Oh, what? How do you know?
It's still got like some battery stuff coming out of the middle.
I see.
Fortunately, I have to put it back. It's going to be a slightly smoked pumpkin upside down cake.
That could be good. Smoking cranberry, classic pairing.
Oh, fuck. Oh, this is so bad.
Oh, so no. Bad. And you can't even open your windows because it's so smoky outside.
Yeah, it would only be worse. Thank goodness I have this really good hood that my dad insisted on installing at one point.
I put mine back in for 6 more minutes.
Did you have, I thought you said your skewer was clean.
Well, I checked another spot after you said that, and then it was all gooey. So,
okay. So we both did the same exact thing. I was like, yeah, my first one came out fine. And then I poked it back in the very center. I did 5 minutes.
So we've got 5 minutes to finish up pumpkin and talk about pecans. Back to pumpkin. We talked about how it helps with vision and especially with age-related vision problems. Keep eating your pumpkin. It also contains fiber, potassium, and vitamin C, which all support your heart health. It also helps with preventing and controlling diabetes. And it also contains vitamin E, riboflavin, which I don't know. I should have looked these up.
Riboflavin.
Okay. Riboflavin, potassium, copper, manganese, thiamine, vitamin B6, folate, pantothenic acid, niacin, iron, and magnesium. So again, I don't know what all those do, but they sound important and fairly crucial to what we need in our body. So go pumpkin.
Yeah. You know what else pumpkin is good for?
What?
As I learned from our fun little trip to the vet this week, it can help cats lose weight.
Oh, and EJ is having a bit of a weight problem.
Yes.
And we're not judgy about that around here. Fuck the BMI.
No.
However,
unfortunately, it can be a cause of their glands rupture. Yeah, it was very gross. Sorry, everybody. So the vet recommended she lose some weight. So we trying to get more fiber into her diet through pumpkin. And he did offer something else up, but I don't remember what it was.
Not as fun as pumpkin.
I was thinking, I'm doing something with pumpkin this weekend. Great. I'll have pumpkin
Perfect.
around.
Yeah. EJ, get on over here.
Yeah.
So pumpkin has a lot of fun things. Pecans, we've heard mixed things about. I think collectively we hear back and forth about nuts, good for you, bad for you. But pecans in particular are a good source of calcium, magnesium, and potassium. And those can help lower your blood pressure, which is especially important on days like today when we're feeling very stressed and moody and cranky. So this cake is once again perfect. Pecans also have monosaturated fats. And so that's the good fat versus a saturated fat, which the place I was looking at said potato chips. And I kind of was like, fuck you. I will still eat my potato chips with garlic brine. However, I take your point. So the monosaturated fats can help lower your levels of bad cholesterol. And that's that LDL cholesterol. They're a good source of fiber again. EJ could eat this whole cake.
Yeah.
Fiber, copper, thiamine, and zinc. Copper does help with your nerve cell function, your immune health, and the production of red blood cells. Thiamine helps with converting carbohydrates into energy. That's also known as vitamin B1. And then zinc helps with your immune system, your cell growth, your brain function, and wound healing.
Okay.
So pop some pecans when you're trying to heal up a scratch.
Okay.
It also helps with heart health, regulating your blood sugar, and helps promote brain function.
Well, shit.
I know.
Pecan. Who knew?
I know. And we learned, my timer's going off.
Mine was about to go. I came over here and turned it off, but I was like, if I stand near the stove, it's going to mess with your sound. I don't know. Mine still looks like it might be a bit damp in the middle.
Okay. I think mine's done. Mine's a little bit browner than it was before, which I feel like makes it, to me, feel like it's cooked through a little more.
Well, mine has to go back in. Well, the good news is that the stuff that fell into the bottom of the oven is almost completely burned off now. So the smoke is slowing down.
I think mine is done.
Okay, great.
So I will let it sit for 10 minutes.
This also might be one of the advantages of the 9x9 pan. I've just never been able to directly compare that for.
Well, and you thought you'd be able to have a 9x9 today. You were ready to compare.
I should have looked last night. Lots of shoulds.
I mean, too many shoulds. Those were all my quick Googles.
Okay.
So everything we're eating is so good for us. It's going to reset our minds, reset our heart, reset our cholesterol, reset our sugar levels. Yay, cake.
Yay, cake. We have a nutritional argument for cake.
This one, at least.
Oh, I love this cake. Oh my God, it's still smoking. I was just thinking that I need to stop smoking joints in the house because I was like, oh, it's going to fuck up the paint. But I was like, no, with the way I cook, that's going to fuck up the paint way more than me smoking a couple joints in the house.
That whole great room is fucked.
It's fucked. Yeah. Might be one of the disadvantages of having an open floor plan.
Totally. Something to think about for designing our Earthship houses.
Yes, it's true.
I have 5 minutes left before flip time. The very crucial exactly 10 minutes.
Exactly.
Flip time. So stay tuned. We'll time travel a bit and we'll actually have an update for you this time, as opposed to pickled garlic, where we did not time travel it far enough.
I had pickled garlic on air. Come on.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh
time travel.
We don't know what this transition is.
We are now in the future. Becca, what did you think of this cake?
It was so good. You were right that pineapple should not be the only contender for the upside down cake throne. This was really, really good. I think maybe I even liked it more than pineapple.
Blasphemy.
I know. Shocker to everybody. I know. But it was awesome because of the extra step of adding the wax paper on the bottom.
Parchment paper.
Yeah, parchment paper. That was huge since, as everybody knows, my first upside down cake fell completely apart, half in the pan, half on the cutting board. So this was great. It came out in all one piece and it was very pretty. So I will always be using parchment paper when I make upside down cakes. Yeah. What did you think?
I ate 3/4 of that cake. Yes, I enjoyed 3/4 of it. I did give a little bit of it away. And then the rest of it didn't make it through Sunday. So yeah, my favorite. It is one of my favorite cakes.
I can see why. And I'm so glad you shared it with us. What did you think about the frozen cranberries, since you had said that was your first time using frozen, not fresh?
Worked perfect. It really couldn't have worked better. Like I noticed zero difference in the texture. So frozen cranberries, A-okay. I mean, we defrosted them. So, but I think because cranberries have such a high pectin level, they have really good structural integrity, that using a frozen cranberry was the same as using it fresh. So you're all good.
So now it's a year-round cake.
Year-round cake. Don't have to wait for cranberry season. So exciting.
Awesome. I loved it. I'll be making it again.
I know. And
of course
yes.
You will.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make it again right now. That putting something under a cake, it's always a good idea to line your pan. There are specific instances where you shouldn't, but for cake, lining the pan is never a bad idea. I'm sorry I led you astray on the pineapple upside down cake without doing that. We all learned a lesson.
Yeah. Yes, we all learned something that day. But mostly just got to eat good cake a couple times. So It's great. Mm-hmm. I'll take it. Can I just give a quick shout out to East Coast? We are seeing more and more East Coast listeners, and it's very cool. Thank you for joining us. We are super excited to have you here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. We
don't even know what we're doing or what we're talking about most of the time. So we really appreciate it.
Tell them. Don't say the quiet part out loud.
Insider information. We don't know what we're doing every time.
Well, everybody, so this was pumpkin upside down cake with cranberry pecan topping on the books.
Check and check.
Like and subscribe to us on, the social medias. We're at highgluttony.com. And we do have a YouTube that we've posted some videos to and plan on using again in the future.
Yeah, technically we have a YouTube. Yeah.
We have a YouTube. It exists.
But check out our website, highgluttony.com. Tell a friend about us, and thanks for joining us. I don't have my coconut.
Oh, I kind of have mine. I've been putting things out in it. So hold on.
Okay. I have 2 tape rolls.
Yeah, let's see what. Don't know if that'll ever stop being funny.
I know, every time we can't figure it out. So, yeah. I blame it on the video delay. I'm sure that's it. It's not user error at all. No. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.